My name is Hayslett, and I work for Iowa State University Extension and Outreach. And my job as Crop Science Youth Educational Specialist is to get kids excited about growing plants. And the best way to get kids excited about plants is for them to actually experience growing a plant. And this might seem a little intimidating if you don't have any experience growing plants or if you don't have a good space for a garden. But I'm going to show you a really easy experiment that you can do that requires very few supplies or space. So these are a medium-sized planting pot. They're a 6-inch pot, and that's going to give you enough space to grow a plant to a full size. You're also going to need some potting mix. I have some waterproof plates to set the plants on. And then, of course, you're going to need seeds. So the best types of plants to grow in a pot this size, lettuce works really well. You can also get beans to a full-size plant. Also, herbs work well. I've got some cilantro and some basil for herbs. Before I start this experiment, I start by asking kids what plants need to grow. And so they should be able to come up with sun, right, with light, with water, and with soil is what plants need to grow. Next, I ask the youth to have a plan for how they're going to take care of their plants. So have them think about how often they're going to water it, where they're going to place it, and how they're going to keep track of the growth. It can help to have a chart or somewhere that they can record what's happening with their plant over time. So this one helps them to record and check on their plant every day and make some observations about their plant. So once they have a plan for how they are going to take care of their plant, then they need to plant their seeds. So the first thing is just to fill the pot with a potting mix. And this is just purchased at a garden center. And then I like to water the potting mix before I plant, just to make sure that I can get my soil nice and moist all the way through before planting the seeds. And you'll know when it's wet enough. You don't want standing water on the top, but you'll start to see water coming out the bottom when the soil's wet all the way through. So next is planting the seeds. So for planting larger seeds, like these beans, I'm going to start by making an indentation into the potting mix. So I'm just going to press my finger down about 1 inch into the soil. So I'm just making a little space for the bean seeds to go. And then placing a bean seed in each one of those. Then I'm going to cover them up. If you're using a smaller seed, like these lettuce seeds, you see they're a lot smaller than the bean seeds. So for lettuce seeds, I'm just going to sprinkle those on top. And that was maybe like 10 seeds, and press them down into the soil. You can also sprinkle a little soil on top, but you don't want to put those seeds as deep because they're much smaller. Then the next thing that the youth need to do is to check on their plants every day, keep track of them, use their chart to make note of things like when their seeds start to germinate. I like having kids have a ruler so that as the plants grow, they can also measure the height over time and see how fast they grow. They might be surprised at how fast some of these plants can grow. And then making sure to water them enough so that the plants germinate and keep growing. The best time to do this experiment is during the summer months because the light is strongest and the plants are going to grow best. You can do this during the winter, but the plants just aren't going to grow as well unless you have a good light source for them. But during the summer, you can put them in a window or on a doorstep, anywhere that has a good sunny spot. And then about a week later, hopefully you will see some growth. So here are those lettuce seeds. After a week, we've got some nice little seedlings coming up. The beans haven't gotten quite as far, but we do have some shoots. Here's a little shoot coming up and some roots growing out. So they're just starting to germinate. So the main thing is that growing plants is fun, and through this experiment, kids are going to see that it's fun to watch their seeds germinate and watch their plants grow and develop.